The day everything almost collapsed began with a gray morning over Columbus, Ohio, the kind that presses down on the chest before a single word is spoken. Michael Turner stood in the parking lot of a glass and steel office building, holding a paper bag with a cold breakfast he would never get to eat. His tie was slightly crooked, his shoes worn thin at the heels, and his phone buzzed with a reminder from the school nurse about his son's inhaler. In that moment, it felt as if the world had narrowed to a single fragile thread, and if it snapped, everything he loved would fall with it. Before the story continues, take a moment to support this channel. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet strength that rises in dark moments, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what truly matters. Michael had not planned this life, but he owned it fully. At 36, he was a single father to 9-year-old Noah, a thoughtful boy with asthma and a habit of counting ceiling tiles when he felt anxious. Michael's wife, Rebecca, had passed away 3 years earlier after a sudden illness, leaving behind a house full of memories and a child who woke from nightmares calling for a mother who would never answer. Every morning since then, Michael moved like a man carrying invisible weight, careful not to drop it. He worked as a senior logistics coordinator at a regional distribution firm, a role that demanded precision, long hours, and total availability. He gave it all he had because the paycheck kept the lights on, the fridge full, and the medicine cabinet stocked. The company's new CEO, Victoria Langford, arrived with a reputation for efficiency and an intolerance for anything she deemed weakness. She believed success came from sacrifice, and that personal lives were distractions best managed elsewhere. Under her leadership, the office felt colder, the deadlines sharper, and the margins for compassion thinner. Michael felt it every time he asked to leave early for a doctor's appointment or arrived late after a sleepless night by Noah's bedside. He made up for it with flawless reports and quiet fixes no one else noticed, but the atmosphere told him it was never enough. When a major shipment error threatened a key client, fingers pointed quickly. The mistake had begun upstream, but accountability rolled downhill. Michael was called into a meeting where performance metrics were reviewed with surgical detachment. He left the room with a warning that felt like a verdict. The message was clear even without words. His value was conditional, and his job could vanish as easily as breath on cold glass. He returned to his desk and worked until midnight, correcting the issue, coordinating drivers, and saving the account. No applause followed. The next morning, he found his access restricted pending review. Being sent home that afternoon felt unreal. The drive back through familiar streets looked different, as if the city itself had shifted. Michael parked in front of the small blue house he shared with Noah and sat in the car longer than necessary, rehearsing how he would explain uncertainty to a child who needed stability. Inside, Noah greeted him with a drawing taped proudly to the fridge, a stick-figure family under a bright sun. Michael smiled, cooked dinner, helped with homework, and tucked his son into bed, carrying the fear quietly so it would not spill. The days that followed were heavy with waiting. Michael sent resumes and followed leads, but Columbus was crowded with talent, and competition was fierce. Bills stacked neatly on the counter, each one a reminder of time moving forward without permission. To keep his mind steady, Michael volunteered at a local community center, helping organize food drives and tutoring kids in math. He told himself it was temporary, but the work filled a hollow place. He met people like Samuel, a retired engineer who believed dignity came from service, and Grace, a program director who noticed Michael's leadership without needing a title to see it. Then something unexpected happened. A severe winter storm rolled across the Midwest, disrupting supply chains and stranding essential deliveries. Hospitals needed equipment. Shelters needed heat. The city needed coordination. Grace connected Michael to a coalition working overnight to reroute supplies using volunteers and local businesses. Michael stepped in naturally, mapping routes, calling contacts, solving problems with the same calm focus he once gave his employer. The operation succeeded against the odds, and news spread quickly through local outlets. Faces appeared on screens, names were mentioned, results were undeniable. Within a week, Michael received calls from companies that had never replied before. One was a family-owned logistics firm led by Andrew Collins, a founder known for building people as carefully as systems. Andrew met Michael at a diner near the Scioto River and listened more than he spoke. He asked about Noah, about values, about what kind of workplace made someone give their best. An offer followed that was not just competitive but humane. Flexible hours, remote options, a culture built on trust. Michael accepted with a steady hand and a lighter heart. News has a way of circling back. Victoria Langford's company faced scrutiny after the storm exposed weaknesses in their rigid approach. Clients asked hard questions. Staff turnover increased. When Michael's name surfaced in connection with the successful coalition effort, the contrast was impossible to ignore. The firm reached out with interest, but Michael declined politely. He had learned that worth is not something to beg for, it is something to live. Life settled into a new rhythm. Mornings were still busy, but they held space for breakfast together. Noah's breathing improved with better care and calmer nights. The Blue House felt warmer, not because money solved everything, but because fear no longer ruled the room. Michael continued volunteering, mentoring young coordinators, and building systems that served people, not the other way around. He did not become famous, but he became whole. If this story has moved you even a little, please take a moment to engage. Like the video, share it with someone who might be standing at the edge of doubt, and subscribe to this channel so these stories can reach hearts that need them. And just before we close, please comment below with a single word that describes what this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. On a clear spring evening, Michael watched Noah ride his bike down the sidewalk, laughter trailing behind him like a promise. The city hummed softly, full of ordinary miracles. Michael understood then that losing a job had not taken his identity, it had revealed it. He had been tested, bent, and nearly broken, but he had proven something far greater than any title. He was not nothing without a job. He was a father, a leader, and a man whose values stood firm, even when everything else tried to shake it.